What if the part of your body that feels furthest from who you used to be could begin to come back to life in just 7 days? No pills, no procedures, just a simple oil, likely already in your home, applied with quiet care. I'm Dr. Laura, and for over 30 years, I've helped men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond rediscover strength where they thought it was lost. In the next few minutes, I'll share something most doctors never talk about, but every man deserves to know. Stay with me. What you learn today might just change how you feel in your body tomorrow. 1. Why most men over 60 struggle down there. I see it every day. Men in their 60s and beyond sitting across from me, not saying much, but their eyes tell the whole story. There's a quiet frustration behind their polite smiles. They feel disconnected from their bodies, from their partners, and in many ways, from themselves. They might not bring it up directly, but I can sense it. The spark they once had feels dim. What used to come naturally now feels like a memory. And most of them believe this is just what happens with age. But I want to tell you something important. It's not about age, not entirely. What's happening below the belt isn't some irreversible fate, but rather a biological shift that, with the right attention, can be gently reversed. As we grow older, the blood vessels in the pelvic area, especially those that supply oxygen-rich blood to the penis and nearby tissues, begin to lose their flexibility. They narrow, stiffen, and become less responsive. That beautiful flood of blood that once arrived easily with arousal slows to a trickle. The result? Fewer spontaneous erections, less sensitivity, more effort for less result. And when that connection fades, it doesn't just affect your body. It seeps into your confidence, your relationships, and your sense of vitality. Nerve endings, once vibrant and responsive, grow quiet. The brain starts to feel a bit disconnected from that part of your body. You stop feeling like yourself. And it hurts. It hurts in your heart, in your mind, and yes, in your marriage. I remember my father, John, a proud man who spent his whole life fixing things with his hands. One day, while we were walking by the lake, he looked at me and said quietly, "Son, it's like part of me just stopped waking up." He wasn't angry. He was just tired. But that moment stayed with me, because I knew this wasn't something he had to accept. He didn't need another pill or false promise. He needed circulation. He needed his body to be reminded how to respond. And when we started supporting his body the right way, he came back, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically, and spiritually. You see, decline is not a punishment for aging. It's simply the body asking for help in a different language. And often, the answer isn't a synthetic drug. It's something much older, much more natural. Something that has been quietly waiting in your kitchen cabinet for decades, overlooked and underestimated. A simple oil rooted in ancient practice that can awaken what feels lost and breathe new life into the most personal parts of you. So now, you might be wondering, what is this natural remedy? How does it work? And what makes it so powerful that even men in their 70s have seen results in just 7 days? Let me show you, because the path back to vitality might be simpler, gentler, and more natural than you ever imagined. 2. The forgotten oil that revives blood flow below the belt. I'll never forget the morning. Thomas sat across from me, his voice quiet, his shoulders heavy. A 72-year-old veteran, built like someone who had seen the world and stood tall through it. Yet that day, he seemed smaller. "Doc," he said, eyes fixed on the floor, "I don't feel like a man anymore." That moment wasn't rare, but it was real. Not because Thomas was broken, but because deep down, he still carried a spark that just needed to be relit. And I knew there was a simple way to do just that. Not with a prescription, not with some complicated therapy, but with something humble, natural, and astonishingly effective. An oil. At first, Thomas raised an eyebrow. You mean something I rub on like lotion? I smiled. Yes, but not just any oil. This one has been known across centuries and cultures, used not just in kitchens, but in healing rituals. Rosemary essential oil, gently blended with almond oil, holds power that modern science is only beginning to understand. Packed with rosmarinic acid, it helps open blood vessels and improve oxygen-rich flow to the areas men often feel they've lost touch with. And it doesn't stop there. Its compounds like carnosol and cineol soothe inflammation and gently stimulate the nerve endings that grow quieter with age. But what makes this oil truly special isn't just its chemistry. It's what happens when a man takes the time to apply it with intention. When Thomas began using it, something shifted. It felt like there was energy under my skin again, he told me. Not a burn, a warmth, like I was waking up. That warmth isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's the return of awareness, the rekindling of identity. A man reconnecting with his body in a way that's nurturing, not desperate, respectful, not shameful. This isn't just a remedy, it becomes a ritual. A moment each evening to reclaim presence and possibility. For Thomas, it wasn't about miracles. It was about momentum, a small act, done with care that reminded him his story wasn't over, that his body still remembered how to respond, that he could feel like himself again. Now that you know the oil, the next step matters just as much, because how you apply it determines what you get back. So stay with me, because I'm going to guide you through the exact process step by step. The same one I teach my own patients, and you can begin tonight. 3. Step by step. How to apply it safely and effectively. One of the biggest mistakes I see men make when they try natural remedies is treating them like chores. Something to just get through. But your body, especially after 60, doesn't respond to speed or pressure. It responds to intention, gentle hands, a calm mind. A sense that you're not just doing something to your body, but doing something for it. And when it comes to rosemary oil, the way you apply it matters just as much as the oil itself. Start by preparing it properly. Essential oils are highly concentrated, so never use them undiluted. Mix 3 to 5 drops of rosemary essential oil into a tablespoon of carrier oil like almond, coconut, or jojoba. Rub your palms together until the oil feels slightly warm. That warmth, subtle as it may be, tells your body that something nurturing is coming. After a warm shower is best. Your skin is clean, your pores are open, and your muscles are more willing to receive. Stand or sit comfortably. Begin right above the pubic bone. Using your fingertips, slowly massage the oil in small, gentle circles. Not with pressure, but with presence. Let your hands move naturally toward the inner thighs and around the base of the penis. You don't have to apply it directly unless you choose to. Even working around the area is enough to awaken circulation and sensation. And as you do it, breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Be with yourself in the moment. Many men have told me that this is the first time in years they've touched this part of their body with kindness, not frustration. One of them, Harold, a 68-year-old retired mechanic, said it brought something back he hadn't realized he'd lost. Not just function, but feeling, identity. You can do this once a day, preferably in the evening. Some men choose twice daily for the first week. Each session takes about 5 to 7 minutes. Not long, but enough to remind your body that you are still here, still whole, still a man. And the changes, when they come, speak louder than any words. So what happens next? Let me walk you through the first 7 days, because what begins quietly can become something extraordinary. 4. What to expect day by day, progress over 7 days. Most men raise an eyebrow when I tell them they might start to feel real change in just 7 days, and honestly, I understand. After years or even decades of decline, frustration, and silence, the idea that something so simple could shift the tide feels far-fetched, but I've watched it happen time and time again. When a man commits to this daily act of care, even just for a week, something begins to shift. Not just in blood flow, but in spirit, in confidence. In the quiet way he holds his shoulders or looks at himself in the mirror. The first day usually brings more emotion than sensation. You may not notice any physical difference yet, but the moment you take 5 minutes to care for yourself with presence, to breathe slowly, to touch yourself with kindness and not frustration, you begin a reconnection. One man, named Walter, told me that after his first night using the oil, the biggest surprise wasn't what he felt below the belt. It was realizing how long he had gone without giving himself that kind of attention, that feeling of dignity. That is where healing truly begins. By day 2 or 3, a soft warmth often appears. A faint tingle in the lower abdomen, a sense of something waking up. It might feel small at first, but that is circulation returning, blood reaching tissues that had grown still. The nerves begin to remember. The body starts to respond. By day 4 or 5, sensitivity improves. You may notice arousal arriving more easily, morning erections returning, and a quiet sense of hope stirring where there used to be doubt. The experience becomes less about effort and more about natural response. By day 6, it deepens. The physical gains are real, but so is the emotional strength that rises with them. You feel steadier, more alive. Some men even say their wives notice first, not because of sex, but because they are simply more present. There's a different energy in the room, an unspoken confidence. And then, day 7 arrives, what I call the mirror moment. You look down, place your hand over your body, and realize something's changed. Not just the sensation or shape, but the relationship. You feel warmth, ownership, pride. One man, Roger, 74, told me, "I thought that part of me was gone. Now it feels like it's mine again." In that moment, that sense of return is only the beginning. Because once the door is open, there's more you can do. And if you're ready, I'll show you how to make these results even stronger, using 3 natural oils that work beautifully alongside rosemary. Let's take it further. 5. Real patient story. James, 68. James was the kind of man who walked into a room and didn't need to speak to be respected. A retired engineer from Ohio with a calm presence and hands that had built more than machines over a lifetime. He lived by routine, believed in logic, trusted in systems. But the day he came to see me, something felt different. His voice was steady, but his eyes carried the quiet weight of someone who had been holding on too long. After a few minutes of polite conversation, he finally leaned in and said, "Doc, I still love my wife. I still feel desire, but my body doesn't follow anymore." There was no anger in his voice, just a kind of quiet surrender. It wasn't about performance. It was about loss, the loss of connection, of confidence, of something he thought had quietly slipped away for good. I asked him, when was the last time he woke up feeling strong in his body? When was the last time intimacy felt like connection instead of pressure? He looked down and said softly, "Years. It's been years." So I shared with him what I've shared with many men, about the power of rosemary oil, not as a miracle, but as a way back, gentle, natural, and rooted in self-respect. At first, James was skeptical. Like many, he had tried the pills, the creams, even the supplements, but nothing ever felt right. This idea of using oil quietly, intentionally, felt strange. But he trusted me. He gave it a chance. Every evening, for just a few minutes, after a warm shower, he followed the steps. No phone, no distractions, just his hands, the oil, and a moment of care. The first few nights, he said it felt almost awkward. But by the fourth day, something stirred. He wasn't waking from restlessness anymore, but from a new kind of energy, a hum of warmth in his lower belly. Not arousal, exactly. Just life, flow. By the sixth night, he stood in front of the mirror and paused. "I saw a man again," he told me. And on the seventh day, while walking beside his wife, something passed between them without a word. She felt it. He didn't need to explain. The confidence, the quiet strength, it had returned. James's story is not an exception. It's just often untold. But now you've heard it. And if you're ready to go even deeper, to build on what you've started, then let me show you the 3 oils that combine beautifully with rosemary to help your body thrive. 6. Bonus. 3 oils you can combine for even better results. While rosemary oil on its own can work wonders, I often remind the men I work with that nature rarely works alone. Just like the systems in our bodies, plants thrive in harmony. Over the years, I've found that when rosemary is blended with a few other time-honored oils, the results become more balanced, more noticeable, and often more lasting. These aren't rare or expensive remedies. They're simple, natural, and deeply effective when used with care. The first is ginger oil. You've likely had it in tea or stir-fry, but on the skin, it takes on a different role. Ginger warms the tissue, gently expanding blood vessels and increasing local circulation. It brings a quiet fire to areas that have gone cool with age. When combined with rosemary, the effect is electric but still comfortable. One patient, Leonard, 71, told me it became his spark blend. He said it gave him a pulse of energy in the mornings that reminded him of younger years. Not exaggerated, just present. The second oil is one many overlook, lavender. Some men hear that word and immediately think of soap or sleep aids. But what they miss is its power to relax the body in the places that matter most. The truth is, tension robs circulation. If your inner thighs, lower back, or pelvic floor are tight, blood struggles to reach where it's needed. Lavender doesn't just calm the mind, it softens the muscles. It tells your nervous system, you're safe now. And in that safety, your body starts to respond more freely. The third oil is a quiet giant, black seed oil. Revered in Middle Eastern medicine for centuries, it supports hormone balance, reduces inflammation, and nourishes the skin and tissue. When added to a massage blend, it works beneath the surface. Not dramatic, but deep. It strengthens the foundation of the work you've already begun. A simple blend could include 3 drops of rosemary, 2 drops of ginger, and 1 drop of either lavender or black seed oil, mixed into a tablespoon of carrier oil like almond or coconut. Warm it in your palms and apply slowly, using the same circular rhythm as before. The beauty of these oils is that you can adjust based on what your body needs. More energy, more calm, more restoration. Nature gives you options. You just need to listen. But remember, even the best oils can only do so much if your daily habits are silently working against you. That's why up next, I'll show you 3 simple shifts that make all the difference. No diets, no gym, just real change starting today. 7. The number 1 mistake most men over 60 make. This is the part that's hardest to say, but it matters more than anything else. The biggest mistake I see men over 60 make isn't about their body. It's not about diet or exercise or hormones. It's something quieter. It's the silent decision to stop believing in themselves. Not in one dramatic moment, but slowly, subtly, day after day. They begin to shrink inside, to accept that maybe this is just how life is now. Less energy, less intimacy, less presence. They start telling themselves the story that they've missed their window, that what they used to feel as men is gone for good, that strength, desire, and confidence belong only to younger years. But here's the truth. That story is the real enemy. It robs more joy than any diagnosis. Because the moment you stop caring for your body, especially the parts you've grown ashamed of or disconnected from, you start fading from the inside out. I remember one man, Raymond, who told me something that stayed with me. I didn't think I deserved to feel like a man anymore. He said, "That hurt to hear, but I looked him in the eye and told him what I hope you'll believe too. You do. You always have. This isn't about vanity. It's about vitality. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's simply waiting for you to come back to it." Too often, men focus only on surface fixes. They want speed, stamina, sensation. But those are just the flowers. The roots are circulation, nerve health, hormonal rhythm, and more than anything, self-connection. This daily oil ritual is not about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming presence. It's about waking up to the truth that your body is still yours. Your pleasure is still valid. And your story is still unfolding. The mistake is not in aging. The mistake is in thinking aging means the end of growth. It doesn't. You can get older and still rise. You can slow down and still feel more. But only if you choose to keep showing up. Not once, but every day. And if you're ready to turn this into something lasting, the next step is where that transformation truly begins. Let me show you how. 8. How to make this a lifelong ritual. When I first shared this oil routine with my patients, many approached it with curiosity but caution. To them, it felt like a short-term experiment, something to try for a week just to see what might happen. And that's perfectly okay. We all need a place to start. But what surprised me most was what happened weeks later. These men didn't just return with better results. They returned with a glow in their voice, a steadier posture, a sense of ownership over their bodies again. They didn't just want improvement anymore. They wanted rhythm. Because healing isn't something you chase once and forget. It's something you build moment by moment through quiet consistency. Especially for men over 60, creating a daily or weekly ritual of connection is not just helpful. It's powerful. The body responds to patterns. When you tell it every day, in action, you still matter, it starts to believe you. And not just in terms of function, but in how alive you feel in your own skin. So how do you make this last? Keep it simple. Attach the oil massage to something you already do. Maybe right after brushing your teeth at night, or following your morning shower. Keep the oil somewhere visible. Don't hide it in a drawer. Let it be part of your space, like your shaving kit or your toothbrush. Then give yourself 5 to 10 minutes. You don't need candles or rituals. Just your breath, your hands, and your willingness to reconnect. Some men begin with a short walk to get the blood flowing. Others stretch gently, loosen their hips, rise up on their toes. Not a workout, just a soft activation. Then the oil, warm it between your palms, breathe it in. Let your touch be steady and kind. This is your moment. This is your message to yourself. And the most important part is showing up every day. Whether you feel a lot or a little, whether you feel strong or uncertain. Each time you return, your body hears you. One man, Thomas, 66, put it beautifully. It's like my morning coffee now, or kissing my wife goodnight. It's not a task. It's a part of who I am. And that's the shift we aim for. Not just improvement, integration. Because once your body starts remembering how it's meant to feel, a bigger question begins to rise. What else is possible? There's one more truth you need to hear, and it just might change how you see everything. Let's talk about that next. 9. A final word to men over 60. After working with thousands of men over the past 30 years, there's one truth I've come to hold close. Just because a part of your body has grown quiet does not mean it's gone. It may be resting. It may be waiting. But it is not lost. And neither are you. Too many men cross the age of 60 and begin to fade from their own lives. Not because their strength is gone, not because their minds are weak, but because something deeper begins to disconnect. That sense of being fully alive in your body, that quiet confidence, that role you once held as a man, present and grounded in who you are. I've had men tell me they feel invisible in their own homes, not needed, not seen, not touched. And my answer is always the same. You are still here, and your body still hears you, even if it's been silent for a while. Yes, the oil matters, the massage, the daily rhythm, but more than anything, it's the attention that heals. The moment you give even 5 minutes of care to yourself, something inside responds. Your breath, your blood, your energy, it all starts to wake up. This isn't about going back to 25, it's about returning to yourself, stronger, wiser, more fully aware of the man you've always been. One patient, Harold, 75, looked me in the eye and said, "I feel like I came home to myself." That's it. That's the heart of this practice. To feel whole again, to reconnect with the parts of you that still work, still want to feel, still want to be loved. So tonight, when you're alone, sit quietly. Warm a few drops of oil between your palms. Breathe and touch your body with kindness. Not to fix, not to chase youth, but to honor everything it's carried you through. The labor, the heartbreak, the years. And to choose right now to care for it anyway, because that act of care is not weakness. It is power. And once you begin, you may notice something beautiful, not just in your body, but in your confidence, your relationships, your clarity. Because when you show up for yourself like this, the world often shows up in return. Now, stay with me. In these final moments, I want to share something that just might change how you live every day from here forward. If you're still with me, thank you, not just for watching, but for choosing to show up for yourself. That single decision carries more power than you may know. For too long, men have been told to expect less with age, less strength, less feeling, less connection. But today you've seen the truth. Your body still listens, your energy can return, and your presence as a man is far from over. You've taken a quiet but meaningful step toward restoration. So let this be the beginning of something deeper, a return to confidence, to sensation, to ownership of your well-being. If any part of this spoke to you, take a moment to subscribe so you never miss future guidance made just for you. And in the comments, simply write "still here" to let me know you're walking this path too. Because the next video might be the one that deepens everything you've just started. Keep going. You're not done yet.